hey, what's going on? I'm not going to ask, is everything okay? Because when a manager sets up a meeting with HR titled emergency, I'm going to assume it's not. But what's going on? Performance. Oh, well, I do get a different kind of emergency, so I'm glad everyone is physically and otherwise okay. But nope, I understand. So let's talk about the performance issue. Yep. Okay. So who is it? Okay. So they're going to get a performance review. They've technically hit their KPIs, but not really. Don't even know what KPIs means? No, that's to speak freely. It's key performance indicators. Basically, what we set as criteria to measure them against, to see how they're hitting it. But so tell me what you mean. What is this specific KPI? Okay. So it's to schedule 30 meetings in a month. How many did they schedule? 32. They're not good quality meetings. Okay, well, backing up. So technically, how was the KPI set? It was just set as there's 30 meetings, but they should know differently. Okay. Well, can you ding them on the review? Let's back it up just a little bit, because overall, it's really important to some people say see around the corner or think about it. So if we're meeting and I'm the manager instead, and you're the team member, and I say, yep, here's your review, and you're like, what are you talking about? I met my KPIs. You're gonna say yeah, but not really. It's hard, right? Well, no, I know, and the review is coming up. So I say this: a performance review should never be a surprise. So I certainly wouldn't want to have it be a surprise to them in that meeting. But also, well, I understand. So you haven't had one-on-ones because you've been busy. Okay. So I think as we set things like KPIs, nobody is perfect. Not the team member, not you, not me. But a lot of it is trying to think about how can we, what are our goals and how do we turn those into performance metrics? So overall, our organization has a revenue goal, things. We all have different parts in that. So my job in HR might be about training and onboarding and compensation and all of that to make sure people are satisfied and want to stay. So we have less turnover costs. But for the sales, obviously that's important to make sure that we're getting out there and trying to measure revenue goals and back that into activity. So it makes sense that there would be a goal. The question to that is, what do we say about that? Well, but you've had a lot of experience, and I know this team member is very new. And so sometimes it is meaning to give them the benefit of the doubt and saying, okay, when they hear meetings, they're going to be trying to get those. And naturally, as an employee, you may want to get the low-hanging fruit. It's kind of cringe. It's fine. You can call it whatever. But if you're saying 30 meetings, they're probably they're going to go to that number. And if there's easier ones to get, then that may be what they try to go for. And so I'd say this is thinking about, as we talk about KPIs, everything is a lesson. We're all on the same team. And never am I going to be in a situation be oh, why didn't you describe it that way? No. Is to say, just thinking about different viewpoints is, okay, in this situation, so we said it this way, 30 meetings. An employee heard that and they met at 30 meetings, but the meetings didn't convert. And so that means then that salesperson is spending more time in those meetings and they're not coming to fruition. They could be spending time in maybe less meetings, but better ones. Okay. Every time there are KPIs is thinking about how we talk about those. And I think it's a lesson. So as a team thinking, okay, we're going to have this target. I don't know. I'm not in sales. So what does that mean to be a high quality meeting? Well, we can talk about this, but it's why it can also be helpful to talk to your team. And as you get those things like goals, explaining it to them. Plenty of times, okay, so revenue target is this, whoever, not me, but somebody, a group of people figure out what that means by how many meetings. So someone sets that 30 meeting goal. Well, when people hear that, and if someone just hears what's applicable to them, then they'll go and run with that. Okay, 30 meetings. But it can be helpful to explain to employees the why. And that may be, as you're setting those revenue goals, giving the opportunity for team members to get involved in setting those goals. So that can be helpful to think about, okay, this is our revenue target. What does that look like? Because depending on like different accounts, it could be 30 meetings, here could be, not worth as much as like 3 meetings elsewhere. So thinking about how do we articulate that and turn those into like actionable goals. And this applies for anything. Like I'm talking about this, again, I'm not in sales, I'm in HR. I try to learn enough so I can like speak to each role, but in any role, it's thinking about what are people going to hear and are they bought in? Because it is true, the number one driver of employee engagement, which is like, no, it's not how long they stay. Like that's more of attention. And yes, things like pay impact that. Whether, often that's a huge driver of retention. But when people come and how much they care about their work on like a day-to-day basis, often is like how their direct manager explains how their success impacts the organization's success. So that's why, as you think about things like KPIs, my advice to every team, every industry, every department is, as you think about KPIs for your team, is there an opportunity for your team to talk about that and shape that and give different perspectives? Understanding at times there are going to be goals set and people have to figure out paths, but getting people involved can often be more helpful than just giving them that goal and having them run with it. So yeah, I do talk about ChatGPT. So you can go to ChatGPT and say, okay, this is what we've gotten from the organization. We've told, 30 meetings is our goal. What should we, how should we be thinking about that? And how can I talk to the team about that and involve them either in setting the goal or, hey, the goals are set. What should I talk to the team about to make sure that these meetings are high quality meetings? Yeah. No, it's not cheating. I mean, within our policy, we have things like don't use the organizational name, don't use employees' names, confidential information. But for things like general talking points, it can be really helpful. But I do think for things like a KPI is to really think about how it's tied and getting that employee to understand. Because people when you are just in your day-to-day and you're like schedule meetings, great. You don't think about okay, so what's that experience like? And so having not just these those ones, the BDRs, business development reps, scheduling the meetings, but to have them be involved with those account executives who have the meetings so they can talk about what it's like to have a high quality meeting versus not. And so how you can really work together to meet those goals that everybody can be aligned. And some people may have a different territory. And so finding some room for exceptions. You can. I think the important thing is that it's fair. That may not always mean a set number. It can be, as a team looking and saying, okay, well, this territory has some bigger companies, so that's less. No. What's important is that it really be fair. Yeah. So for any time. So if you're in this situation, I'd say this. If you had said the goal was 30 meetings and that employee did it, I'd be pretty hard pressed to ding them on it. What I think can be helpful is to say, yes, this is the performance they've achieved it. So I think if you do anything otherwise, it's really going to come across as unfair. But then it's always an opportunity to say, you got this. And also they hit that, they did hit something. So even if they didn't, they may not understand what a high quality meeting looks like. So it's also important. It's not like you're coming in here telling me they didn't hit it and they got 0. That would be a different conversation. But so saying you got this, but also a next step is to understand high quality, some of these meetings and what that looks like. And so talking with this employee, but overall as a team, and that's how you can shape those KPIs. And you can use something like a ChatGPT to think, how can we describe KPIs to include things? Because other things like what if this person had hit the number of meetings, but they're a complete jerk to everybody else and won't share best practices and things like that. I mean, that's part of our KPIs as well. And so we talk about how you not just having factors like the specific number of meetings, but the quality of those, like you said, and what kind of colleague you are. How you work with others in collaboration. There's other things that are important to being an organization that people want to work at. So yeah, we can talk about these. But in this emergency situation, I would not ding. I think really saying you achieved this and celebrating what they did because they're relatively new, so that is good. But explaining, with some of these meetings and what that looks like and how they can improve, but also how you can improve and saying that was it, you hit the goal. What I could have said was this on the quality and how you evolve over time. And showing some of that development can be helpful to them as well because they can see that everybody's not perfect and we're all here to learn and grow. Yes. Emergency session concluded. If you like these tips, try our 7-day Manager Makeover Challenge. It's free. See the description to sign up.